One percenters, welcome back, Coach Tommy. The Victor Wemby show has begun. Saw this pop up on Thinking Basketball. Gotta watch it. Let's react. Saw this game. He is so long. But my first instinct
is an 8.
My first instinct, he's not polished. I mean, we know that. He's a lot more mobile than I thought. The motor, it looks there, but obviously too weak.
Footer. I mean, sure, he's only 7'3" or 7'4", but his 8-foot wingspan breaks the dimensions of basketball like no one in the 132-year history of the sport.
Biggest impact he has so far is just paranoia in and around the rim.
Take this play, where Wemby's guarding a wing, and Steph Curry runs a basic spread pick and roll, so Victor stays in the paint to help out on the roll man, has both feet in the lane on the pass, and then somehow blocks the 3. As a reminder, this is what a normal-sized human looks like on the exact same play, helping on the roll, then recovering to contest the shot. But Wemby is a basketball xenomorph who surprises the best players in the world like they're school kids trying to shoot over a teacher. This was wild to watch last year in France, where professionals couldn't calibrate Victor's superhuman length. And the exact same thing is happening to NBA players right now. Yep. Jalen Williams hits him with some slick ball handling and glides in for a bunny that was erased from another dimension, because no one should have a foot outside the paint and then catch a layup. On this one, Alperen Şengün rolls right to the bucket.
People are just figuring out.
And he tried to drive his shoulder into the shot blocker so he couldn't jump, but Vic just reaches across his body without leaping to get the ball. Kevin Durant, of all people, needed to calibrate Wembanyama's length, using a little tempo to get into a step back to shoot, because the first time he went right to his sweet spot, and Wemby tipped it coming out of his hand.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what
Wemby is.
You have to see it for yourself.
Wemby's length is more than just blocking shots. It's about horizontally shrinking the floor. He's on Williams here, who has the wild idea to try and shoot over him, but on the offensive rebound, Wemby ends up 30 feet from the hoop, and then slides just inside the three-point line before stretching like 9 feet to strip it in the lane. And I think this man might actually be a video game incarnate. Heck, he makes basic inbounds passes difficult, and the producers haven't calibrated to the adventurousness of these out-of-bounds plays yet. Wemby's teammates aren't used to his length either, because this is an easy lob at the rim for Victor, and I know that because he reaches his own layer of the atmosphere, so open space should always be a lob. Here's another one where a teammate misses an easy pass, a second teammate sees it but doesn't throw it high enough, and that's okay because he reaches over and steals it from a teammate anyway. So the Spurs players are learning to lob it higher than they think they need to on these passes, because it's hard to out-throw someone who can go and do this. Jumping like that is cool and all, but what about grabbing offensive rebounds without jumping? Because, again, length. And Robert Covington is 6'7" here, and Wemby reaches clean over the top of him like he's Muggsy Bogues.
Insane.
Wemby's reach redefines the rules around the basket, guarding the perimeter, helping in the paint, catching lobs, and tipping rebounds like this. And it even changes his dribbling, bringing him super close to the floor, although he's too ambitious on that reverse. Wembanyama himself is still calibrating to the league, learning how to use his unique body at an NBA level.
That's what I said, his dribble
since he's only
underneath
19,
him.
there have been bumpy rookie moments, which is how most of the game played out the other night in Phoenix against Durant and the Suns. He's a little late reacting here and can't reach KD, and the first 3 quarters were mostly a struggle for Wemby and the Spurs in this one. He's late to rotate here, and Phoenix led by 20. But early in the fourth, Wemby floated into a catch-and-shoot 3, and the lead was down to 10.
Nothing you
Then
can do about
on the
that if
next
he starts
possession,
shooting those
no one sent Grayson Allen the
with
memo about
consistency.
Wemby's wingspan, and he blocks it flat-footed under the rim.
Stupid.
A minute later, he's involved in the pick and roll action, drops back to the elbow, but that's in his block radius, and it's a run out to cut the lead to 9 for the Spurs. And he caught the shooter off guard that time by starting a left-handed vertical contest, then turning and reaching with the right hand.
What did you say?
With the lead at
What did
9,
you say?
San Antonio was looking for a huge 3 in transition, but Wemby suctions in the rebound and spins his way into some overhead nonsense.
That's crazy.
And that rebound was octopus tentacles grabbing the ball, and then he just kind of dropped it in the bucket. The next time down, he's screening in some
awareness.
pick and roll action and pops out to the three-point line for a key shot pass, and that loveliness trims the lead to 5.
Decent vision.
Wemby actually went to the bench for a few minutes after that, and the Spurs held their own, flummoxing Phoenix a little with a zone defense. And when Victor returned with 2
why I
minutes
said Devin
to play,
Booker's a better
he
player
went
on the
right
Suns
to
team.
work, spitting into this critical pass with 1 second on the clock.
Kid, he choked
that
the game
drew a
away.
Foul. Still, the Suns
Boneheaded
seemed
plays.
safe with a 5-point lead in the final minute until an unguardable jumper shaved it to 3. Phoenix had a chance to ice the game for good, and Wemby tries to close out to the corner shooter, but couldn't get quite a clean run at him, although maybe his presence threw off Yuta Watanabe just enough to leave the door open, where a huge 3
just
could
missed.
tie the game. Devin Vassell fires, only for Wemby to keep the Spurs alive.
being lazy or
and
forgetting
then on
to
the
block
inbounds,
out.
they pressure Durant in the corner, and he loses it. And for the first time in the entire
Looking
game,
at
the
the
Spurs
refs,
take the
expecting
lead.
a foul call.
Woo.
Superstar
I
calls.
imagine that Durant lost track of Keldon Johnson when he flew out of bounds for a moment, and so we never saw him sneak up from behind. And that's what happened 2 seconds earlier on the missed three-pointer,
lazy.
where Wemby sets a flare screen at the elbow. KD sees it, but then completely forgets about Victor, who barely needs to jump to punch it. On the final defensive play of the game, Wemby is ready to help on any shooter on his side of the court. And Durant curls off with a look that is no good. And since Wemby is about 2 steps from anywhere, his length can intimidate shooters, and maybe KD rushes it a little because of his presence.
Very, very difficult
Now,
shot.
this is just the beginning, and we're only scratching the surface of Wemby's potential in the league as he matures. But in just a few games, we've seen all the different ways his length could unlock additional offensive value, and how
Spurs
that
will figure it out
unicorn
pretty
reach
soon with their coach.
disrupts so many areas for opposing teams' offenses, tipping passes, blocking unblockable shots, and generally messing with shooters' heads as they figure out how to deal with a real-life 8-footer. Let us know what else you'd like to see covered.
The length is wild. Just lets me know that the Spurs don't have a true point guard. They have no idea how to get this man the ball. A true point guard would know that guy's catch radius, catch volume, and he would understand him already. Like through preseason, he would already know how to get this guy the ball and what spaces he would operate in. Right now, the Spurs, they need to find a real point guard. And Victor should start going crazy. I mean, he's going to have to be more efficient or more accurate with his stuff. But the potential is clearly there. He can run, he can jump, he can cut, he can twist. He's got length, and it looks like he has a desire to keep his body and build his body up properly. So the likelihood of injury will be reduced. Until next video, take 14 minutes, 24 seconds, or 1% of your day to get better. Peace.